Hey, shalom, shalom fam, coming to you live from IHRFC Center number 1. Now, in some of the personal conversations that I had over the past couple weekends and days and months and things like that, a lot of brothers and sisters were concerned that they would say, hey, Akeem O'Shea, I don't have 80 acres, I don't have a lot of land, how can I do something? I just got a 1-bedroom apartment, I got a 2-bedroom apartment. First off, let me start by this. I know some of you football fans out there and some of you guys who know me personally see that Moshe got on a Arizona Cardinals sweatshirt. Let me tell you this right here. Before they were ever the Arizona Cardinals, they were the Chicago Cardinals. So in the words of Reverend Ruckus, learn your history. Anyway, all the playing aside, man, we got some stuff over here on the ground. I'm going to show you guys how to actually plant seed, transfer some plants and things like that, and actually care for your plants as well, with just a limited amount of space. Now, this all stemmed from one of the lessons that we had on tithing. And so, for those of you who are in the way, you actually know that tithing was food. It had nothing to do with money. So this little area right here, for some of our guests who come into the center, this is going to be something, we're going to have a poster board here, and you guys are actually going to see this from the ground up. We're going to have a poster board right here, a little bit of information about tithing, some scriptures from the lessons, and most importantly, what we're going to have here is take one. Everything right here will be totally free. HalleluYah. So, now, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to actually transplant some plants right here. Right here, I got some little tomato plants. These are actually big boy tomatoes that I brought from Walmart, $1.77. This right here is your jalapeno plants right here. I've actually been growing this for a while, but as you can see, it doesn't look as strong as it would in the ground. Why, Akeem O'Shea? Well, because it has outgrown this particular pot right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to move it into a bigger pot, allowing the root system to flourish more so it can grow and actually bear us some fruit. Right here we have this is the bell peppers, and the actual bell peppers came from these seeds right here. I started with seeds, and this is what we ended up with. And again, it's outgrown the pot right here, so we're going to transplant it. These are actually California Wonders. So we started with this. This is what we got so far, and now we're going to transplant it. Right here, this is actually from my herb garden at the house. This is a rosemary bush, and I'm going to show you guys how to transplant that from, outside to indoor. So we're going to convert this from outside, growing outside, and and we're going to have it to grow inside. Also, so now what we're going to be growing here, we're going to start with seeds with these right here. Right here, I got some collards. These are the seeds. Got some broccoli, and we're going to do some herbs here too. So I got some Genovese basil right here. We got some basil, and also we got lavender. So these are the herbs that we're going to grow. This is more of vegetables that we're going to grow. In addition to the tomatoes, we're going to have tomatoes here. We're going to have jalapeno peppers. We're going to have California Wonder peppers. We're going to have broccoli and some collards. And on the herb side, we're going to have right here rosemary. And rosemary, you can actually use to cook with and things like that. We're going to have some rosemary. We're going to have some lavender. And we're going to have basil. So, hey, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with this. And now, you're saying, well, hey, Moshe, I don't really know what to use. Do I have to buy pots? Do I have to buy this? No, you don't have to buy pots. What I have right here, this pot I bought from Wally World, Walmart. It actually costs $2.97. But if you don't have pots, I actually got this from our landlords next door over at the food place. But you can use something as simple as a 5-gallon bucket. This right here in the case, this is a 2.5-gallon bucket, but you can get a 5-gallon bucket right here. But I won't be using this right now just simply because I hadn't cleaned it out. And that's the most important thing. This has chlorine in it. This is actually for the pool. So I won't be using this now. The next video that you guys see, I'll probably have it in, but I hadn't cleaned it yet. So that's why I won't be using that or using this pot right here. But for all intents and purposes, I just got it right here so you guys can see that you don't need much to get this going. Now, totally, everything that I bought today, I bought this right here. I bought this, the tomatoes. I bought two pots, and I brought 4 things of soil right here. This is the actual soil that we're going to use. Total, it was $17.97 with everything. And I also bought some algae heaters for our tank, but that's neither here nor there. So everything total was under 20 bucks. $17 total, fam. And this is going to feed you and sustain you indefinitely, really, because these are perennials. You know what I'm saying? Tomatoes, they can grow all year round. You know what I'm saying? If you nurture them and if you keep them the right way, you know, if you water them and everything. And we're going to go over all of that, but this can sustain you, you know? And so that's the important thing. So you don't need 80 acres. You don't need 100 acres. You don't even need 1 acre. All you need is a well-lit area, which is what we have right here, the front side of the center, which in the summertime, see, it's the winter time now, but in the summertime, the sun actually shines in here a little bit more, so we'll get more light, and you guys will see that in future videos. But this is well lit enough to where we're going to have adequate lighting, and it's room temperature, of course, so it stays about 72 degrees in here, so you don't have to worry about frost and or bugs or anything from the outside. So pesticides, you don't have to worry about freezing, frost, and things like that. You don't have to worry about because it's all indoors. So hey, now with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So now with transplanting, what we're going to do is this right here, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this is in diameter. I'm going to read the dimensions off with this because you're going to need something pretty big for plants like this that have grown and that have outgrown the smaller pots. Now, how do you get the measurements? What you would do is measure across right here to get the circumference right here. You would measure from here to here, and if I'm not mistaken, this one is about, let's see here, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is about 4 to 5 inches, you know, just by guesstimation. This one right here is 10 inches in diameter from side to side. Now with that, and the depth of it as well, it's pretty deep, you know, so you can just look at the bottom as well. They always have the information right here. So it's 10 inches in diameter, about 9 or so inches in height, you know, and then they have the metric at the bottom right here. So with that being said, it's 9 inches deep and it's about 10 inches across. Adequate enough spacing for the roots to set into this particular thing right here, and for it to flourish and for it to bear your fruits. That's the most important thing. And I mean, this is, picture yourself being in a little small 1x1 box. You know what I'm saying? You can't grow, you can't stretch, you can't do exercises and things like that. Bear that in mind when with the plants. The plant, after it's outgrown a certain pot, you always need to repot it. So now, we're going to go ahead and redo these right here since we have them. And then we're going to actually plant these as well. These are my tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Hey, lycopene, which is found in tomatoes, lycopene actually reduces the risk of prostate cancer. So you always want to have that as well, just to kind of bear in mind. So now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to take all of this soil that was already with this particular plant. This one is the California Wonder right here, our bell pepper plant. So I'm going to take all of this soil that was in here as well and use it. But before I do that, I'm going to take some of our soil right here. As you can see, I got this from the dollar store, $1. Got this from I got them from separate dollar stores, so you can actually get these from Walmart too. $1. This one right here was $1, and this one was $1. A lot of people say, well, don't you need nutrient-rich soil and stuff like that? No, all I have is the power of prayer. I'm sorry, I'm not really conventional when it comes to stuff like that. The Gentiles say you need nitrogen and you need all of these things. I'm not real big on chemicals. I believe in the power of prayer. Afterwards, I'm going to drop a little bit of anointing oil in there, say a prayer over it. Right. Man, hallelujah, it's going to grow. How is it going to grow? How do I know? I got faith, man. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started and use this one. So basically, you want to fill this one up kind of halfway with your soil. And break it up and see, it's already got plenty of nutrients in it. These little white things right here, this is actually nitrogen, you know, a combination of things. if you want to know more information, they always have the ingredients on the back here to let you know and what you're working with. Now, some people say you need garden soil as opposed to regular plant soil. Plants are plants. You need dirt. I mean, really, if you live up north, see, the reason I'm using potting soil is because down here in Louisiana, the soil sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's got a lot of sand in it. But if that's the only thing that you have, I garden outside, so I can garden in here. You can go outside and get you some dirt. All that free dirt out there, you don't have to pay for it, you know. But just for the sake of convenience and things like that, I'm going to use this potting soil right here because it's relatively inexpensive and it's just as effective, you know. So, but just bear that in mind, especially the further up north you live and the blacker the dirt, that means it's more nutrient rich. So you can always use that as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and get a little comfortable. All right, so right back here, fam, again, this is about halfway full right here with some of our potting soil. And I'm going to take the rest of this soil right here and I'm going to put it in there as well. Now, let's go ahead and you kind of break it up like that a little bit. You kind of break the soil up and you can see there's a stark difference. This soil is a lot darker because I just brought different soil. That's all. It's no different, no better, no worse or anything like that. It's pretty much soil. So, and again, fam, with this, you definitely don't want to just yank it out. You want to make sure you go ahead and soften it up, break up some of that soil. Depending upon how long you had it in the plant, the soil should be pretty hard. So you want to break it up like that so it's easier to pull the plant out. And most importantly, you want to make sure you have the roots with the plant. So as I go over, I just kind of dump some of this stuff in right here. And as you can see, it has a very, very, very vast root system right here. And you know, unlike the tap roots, these roots are a little more veinous and things like that, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit better, a little bit more, you see. And so I just want to set this down right here and just kind of work it in a little bit like that. And now watch how this thing grows. And then, you know, once you have that soil in there, you can put more soil in. You don't want to put too much soil in there. That's the most important thing. So with this, just take a little bit more of that soil that you have in there and kind of pack it down a little bit. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. Now, most important thing is you want to water this afterwards, you know, because you just don't want to put it in, you know, dry soil. Although the soil may be moist and things like that, you want to put it in, you want to water it to allow it to re-solidify and kind of coax those roots into searching out for that water, henceforth getting this plant used to its new environment. So I'm just going to step over here real quick and grab some of the water that we have over here. Yeah, you can see Moshe got kind of a green thumb. This was actually a transplant. I actually took just a piece of this from work, from my job, and now here a couple months later, this thing is thriving, dude. It's growing like crazy, man.
HalleluYah.
Okay, so, you know, I definitely love growing. It helps out, man. It's therapeutic for me. For those, like I said, again, for those of you who know me, I could be a bit of a live wire, so this actually acts as therapy. I'd say I talk to Yah, so I don't need a therapist.
That's right. That's right.
All right, okay, let me go.
Maybe too much for him. You gonna be too much for him, you know.
Okay, so just put a little bit of water. You don't need to put too much water in there. That's it right there. That's enough. Just enough to coax those roots into searching out for that water in its new environment, henceforth allowing it to get used to it. So, one down. That's transplanted right there. You got one down. We're going to do one more. Again, that's my California Wonder, my